Alright, this is a video to myself, and I may upload this to YouTube, I may not upload this to YouTube, but I'm here to say that human nature is a lot more mysterious than what we realize. And whether it's taking Yage, which is also known as ayahuasca, whether it's learning about mycology, whether it's learning about, you know, the Great Spirit, whether it's learning about, how animals communicate, how birds communicate, whether it's learning about how machines work and how algorithms work, or how in Spanish is called patrones, which stands for patterns. We live in a very profound universe. And there's a lot more for us humans to learn and understand. But thankfully, someone like Jesus Christ came into our life, changed the nature of nature by introducing the Holy Spirit into the whole environment. And so the battle has been won. It's over. But a lot of us are still sleeping, or in Spanish, as a lot of people say, estamos muertos. No hemos despertado. We haven't woken up yet. And who knows what the future of humanity will look like. This may simply be just one stepping stone in a much bigger arc of a much bigger process. But I'm here to say that, speaking as someone with a lot of autism, I'm really glad to have taken Yage. I'm really glad to have found a way to connect with the natural world. I have found a way to expand and grow, and I have a lot more to learn. But my scientific spidey senses tell me that there is still something that we humans don't understand, but I think it has something to do with this idea of free will. That I know that at least one major Christian has told me that free will isn't real. And then also we can't make decisions. And then also a professor like Sapolsky, which I believe he's from one of the Ivy Leagues. And he wrote a book, and he talks about this idea that free will doesn't exist. Instead, it's based on our bioneurology, and that, a lot of that's based on our environments and our genetics, perhaps. And so, based off of everything that I've experienced so far, something tells me that there might be some truth in that. And communities may be simply small communities of mycelium, or like mycelium networks, or mushroom networks. And right now we're learning how to expand, grow, change, so on and so forth. And so the future of humanity might be very different than the science fiction futures that we read in books, because our science fiction futures are based on a presumption that we have a physics evolution, an evolution in physics, with like whatever goes beyond quantum mechanics, or general relativity, space-time theory, so on. But there may be other forms of scientific evolutions that take place in our century. I believe the next Albert Einstein is not going to be a physicist. I believe he's going to be a biologist. He's going to have some kind of deep insight into the nature of how our neurology works, how our neurons work, and so forth. And Dr. Hoffman, I learned about him from the Lex Fridman podcast. He talks about how the general theory of relativity is fundamentally wrong, and that the way natural selection works creates all kinds of biases in our understanding of reality, our perception of reality, starting with our vision, starting with how we can see. Here a lot of people say el ojo de Dios, the eye of God. And so I will wrap it up here, but I wanted to throw that out to the universe. Anyone who watches this video, please comment and question down below. If you are a curious-minded individual with any kind of scientific inquiry, I would appreciate hearing some kind of feedback from y'all. Help me develop my intuition. As Terence McKenna speaks about, developing intuition is a very powerful asset, not only in day-to-day life, but as a scientist in particular. And we live in this kind of Western scientific mindset where we pretty much depend entirely on empirical evidence. But I believe that the brightest scientists, the most groundbreaking scientists, were very intuitive scientists. And whether it was incredible PhD papers or whether it was, the work of someone like Albert Einstein, all the work he did, meditating in a dark room, basically meditating in a cave, the way he was able to develop general relativity, all suggests to me that intuition, and I believe Terence McKenna is spot on with this, intuition is one of the most undervalued tools we have as scientists. And so, what will the future of science look like? Who knows? But some people speak about the God of the gaps. Chemists talk about the God of the gaps, which are basically the God of the unknown, right? Because you have all these theories that talk about and describe the structure of an atom, and yet we still don't really inherently know exactly like how it fully looks like. I think now they have pictures. Nowadays, there's actual images, very blurry images of actual atoms, but still the very nature of an atom, at least my understanding of it, is extremely mysterious. And there's no exactly single theory that fully describes exactly how it looks like. Maybe a theoretical physicist would disagree with me. The usage of quantum mechanics, that's beyond my level of expertise. But my understanding is, I was a chemical engineer, for the record. But my understanding was that we don't fully understand the full nature of an atom still to this day. I think it's a general takeaway. But maybe quantum mechanics already has established a really, really incredible tool and methodology. But again, we don't know what dark energy is. We don't know what dark matter is. Those forms of matter and energy may exist within the atom itself. Maybe there's still particles that haven't been discovered. And I digress. I leave it at here. Take care of yourselves. And again, stay curious.